All right, new project. This very nice AI village that we have simplified, and we're going to paint the background today. So in order to paint the background, I didn't transfer the whole image of the village. I just transferred the border, upper part, so I know where to stop, and then we're going to work on once the background is done, we're going to work on the buildings in the front. So for the background, we're going to start with a layer. There are two layers in here. We have a very nice faint background in there, and then we have a mid-tone in there. So there's a light one in the back, and then there's a one in mid-tone in the middle, and then we have the front. So for the background, this background here, which is really kind of foggy and faint, what we're going to do is we're going to take a brush that is wide enough, and we kept the canvas white to take advantage of the white in the background. So what I'm going to do for this is Cobalt Blue or Ultramarine Blue, doesn't matter. Ultramarine Violet, white, and raw Umber. Raw Umber just to tone down the colors and make them more earthy. Otherwise, they're very bright. I'm going to take quite a bit of white, put it in here, make a batch of nice light purple blue color, and take just for now more of the ultramarine violet than the blue. Take what I do is I just take it push the color with the corner of my brush instead of dipping all of my brush in there. Okay, keep in mind that acrylic dries darker. So whatever you see here that we're mixing, once it's dry, it's going to dry darker. But you see, I am trying to get more of the ultramarine violet in here. Now, I'm going to take a bit of raw umber, or you could take easily in there, put in there yellow ochre. That will work too. Just make sure that you have, if you use yellow ochre, make sure that your color is more on the purple side, not on the blue side. Otherwise, you're going to end up with green. Okay, I'm going to start from here. Oh, that's too light. Too dark, I mean. And it's okay if it turns, once it's dry, if it turns more darker than this, that's okay. We can glaze it. So I'm thinking the lightest part starts behind, right here, behind the church rooftop, and then it continues down to approximately here. So, okay, let's take that. I'm going to take more white at this point and put it in. And it's okay if it's not exactly the right position. Doesn't matter. Okay, at this point, I'm going to take advantage of this wet background I'm going to take advantage of the wet background and use Cadmium Orange and bit of the yellow ochre. Mix them. The reason I'm doing this is just I want a orange that is more on the yellow earthy tone. And because now everything's wet here, I can mix these two together. I'll pause in a minute. I'm going to bring in the color of the background, which is Cobalt Blue or Ultramarine Blue, Ultramarine Violet, White, and a touch of raw umber. And you see here my orange is kind of an earthy tone orange, and I can come here and then just add hint of greenery in the back. And again, if this turns out to be too dark when it's dry, that's okay. I can always glaze.
That was orange and yellow ochre?
Yellow ochre and orange.
Yeah, okay. Mixed in with the other colors.
Yeah. Mixed in I'm mixing it with the background color, which is kind of still wet. And I have a feeling it is a bit too dark. I'm going to take a little bit of Naples Yellow at this point. There's not much of not much happening in here. I will glaze this and we'll start working on the mid-tone. It's amazing how acrylic dries darker, really dark. All right. This is now just, again, the color of the background. And because everything is still wet, it's easier for me to kind of soften the colors. The oranges that I put in there and make them more kind of disappearing into the background. Okay. Let's leave that to dry, and then we'll come to the mid-tone. Okay, so I added Sap Green to the mixture. So I have here Sap Green, Naples Yellow, Cadmium Orange, Yellow Ochre, of course, the colors we were using before, Raw Umber, the Cobalt Blue, Ultramarine Violet, and White. And now we're going to work on the mid-tone. So we're going to work on this area right here, So it's just a bunch of colors. And again, if we feel like, see how dark this is now? This part is drying, the color is drying darker, but that's okay. We're going to put we're going to put a layer of a light transparent color. We're going to glaze all this. So I'm going to start with.
What size is your brush, Leah? I can't.
Okay, so
really
small one, because it's a bright small, not too small.
Is
it's
the
number
6 too large?
4, 6. It depends.
Number 4, I think, it looks about the same size as your.
Yeah, 4. Because the only reason I use 4, I use smaller, is just because I want texture. And this is about 3/4 of an inch. Is this 3/4 of an inch? Maybe you know.
But that's not a 4 then, because that's
yeah, 3/4 of an inch. Okay. All right. It doesn't matter. So we can always use the corner of the brush to get texture. So what I'm going to do is take Sap Green, and I'm going to put blue in my Sap Green. So it's like a bluish green. And let's put as well, that's a beautiful color actually, with the Cobalt Blue and Sap Green. And we're going to put white. We don't want to make it too white. Put some more. Because you can see in the picture, the background is quite dark. We can do color just the way it is, dark color, and then what we'll do after is glaze the whole thing. Okay, don't make it too light. Needs to be dark. Okay, this is good. I'm taking a little bit of white, not much. I'm going to glaze this. So whatever you're seeing right now, you're seeing dark color, but it's going to be glazed. I'm going to take a little bit of Ultramarine Violet. Purple, makes things look further away. It's a cool color, and you push back whatever you're using, you're painting, if you use purple. Don't worry, I know it's dark. Just, for me right now, is texture more than color or shade or value, because all of this can be easily glazed. There are many ways of painting this. You can glaze, and I'll show you in a minute how you can glaze the shape on. Now I'm going to take a little bit more, and I'm going to go behind the church steeple. Is that steeple?
Yeah.
Okay. And maybe one here, like this. And now I'm going to start bringing in some orange, yellow ochre. And I have some green on my brush. I'm going to take with the corner of my brush a little bit of white, very, very small amount of white.
Sorry, and is it white and the yellow ochre?
It's white and cadmium orange and yellow ochre. It's a combination of different colors. So what we're going to do is kind of put some oranges, some yellows, some greens, overlap them. And they're all kind of earthy colors. I'm using the corner of my brush and I'm just dabbing. So if I take yellow ochre, I'm sorry, Naples Yellow, I'm not cleaning my brush from the green. I'm keeping the green there. I'm adding a little bit of. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to muddy my color a bit. Not muddy, tone it down. Trying to tone my color down. I'm not trying to copy exactly what's happening in that reference. We don't want to do that. Just kind of what's in the reference is a guideline. I'm going to clean my brush a bit, and that will wet the brush as well. Stick a bit of purple in here, blue. Just a tiny bit of purple. Let's put some blue in it. Okay, let's continue with this. Go back behind this part, right part of the steeple right there. And again, I'm going to put some greens, some purples. This is purple mixed with a bit of green. Let's put some white. Yeah. Now I'm going to take, play around with your colors. I'm adding light green now. So I'm taking Sap Green, Naples Yellow. I'm going to put it here. Some very faint orange right here. If it's easier, then, going back and forth between orange and green, just put the green and then put the orange over where you want it. So put the green all over and then put the orange on top if you don't want to go back and forth. So I'm going to do this here, this technique right here. I'm going to put green everywhere, like this. Let's take a different green. Let's do this. If you don't want to go back and forth between different colors. This is really kind of dark right now. It's a very dark value, but that's okay. We need this, and I'll show you why. So this is my green. It's right here, done. Now I need orange over that. Okay. With the dry brush, I'm pushing some green out. Dry brush, whatever is left over. All right. Okay. Now, I'm going to take some orange with yellow ochre, some Naples Yellow to make my orange a bit lighter. And I'm going to come here and just kind of put my orange with the corner of my brush. This is an easier way. So I'm just putting my oranges and yellows. I'll be adding a little bit more yellow in a minute here. Naples Yellow. So at this point, I'm going to take green and white, and I'm changing into a round brush, and I'm making my green color, green and white, into a very nice glaze. So I'm making the color transparent, and I'm going to go over the dark. I'm going to do this. You can take more if you like. A bit of blues in there, or purples, put them in as well, in the green and white. And with the round brush, paint a texture over. That's one way. The other way is, I'm just going to do this and then I'll show you the other way. The other way is to glaze the whole thing. This part is not important because we're going to have some hanging part of the tree showing, branches and colors. Okay. I'm gonna let this dry because I'm gonna glaze the whole thing.
It looks quite nice.
Yeah, but we need to push it back.
Yeah.
But we need to push it back and then add more trees and then again glaze them back. So this is really dark right now. What we need to do is push back the whole thing. So before I push back the whole background with the glaze, I'm going to take some Sap Green and let's put some blue and some purple in my Sap Green. So I need dark Sap Green. The purple is drying. And with this Sap Green, I'm going to put a couple of trees in here. So when I glaze this part, everything will look glazed at the same time. Okay. Take Naples Yellow, Sap Green. That will give me a very light green. Nice color. Maybe a little bit more, a bit of white in here. Okay. Same light green in the back. Again, maybe here. Right. Okay. I'm gonna let it dry and then I'm gonna glaze it. I'm going to glaze it. Okay, so I'm gonna pause for now. All right, now this background is completely dry. So I want to push it back and I'm going to use glazing for that. So I have a wide brush and it's not a thick bristle. It's soft. I don't want it to dig into the paint. This is completely dry. The background is completely dry. I'm going to take purple, Ultramarine Violet, that's what it is, Ultramarine Violet, and tiny bit of the blue that I was using for the sky, which is Cobalt Blue, lots of white. You still want to see the purple, so don't make the color too white because you want to see the purple. And water, or glazing medium, or clear gesso, anything that makes your paint transparent. I use water. Okay, now I can see like I am doing a little bit of a sample there. That's good. Okay, that's good. That's good. I'm gonna put a bit of more water in here. Okay, so when I mixing color, I mix with just the top of the brush. Okay, I don't push too much paint into my brush. I'm gonna pick up color, wipe my brush softly, come here. Okay, the best way is not to go over the paint too many times because you're going to lift the color. So let it dry, put a wash, let it dry. This is a little bit too, okay, I don't want to see the brush stroke too much. I'm trying to cancel the brush stroke a bit. I'm going to come here and again and let it dry. And if I need to, this is like, you know what I'm just barely touching, very gentle brush stroke over this. Don't push too much because you will lift the color if you do. You will lift the paint. I'm going to take a little bit of white in here, in this corner, and I'm going to make this part a little bit lighter. The left corner here. All right, I'm going to let it dry. Once it's dry, if I find that it needs one more layer, I'll add another layer.
You did the whole sky, both the darker and the lighter? That?
Yes, all of it. Yes, all of it.
We're too busy mixing colors.
Yes, that's okay. Okay, so one more layer. So I mixed now blue, cobalt blue with white, touch of the ultramarine violet, but mostly blue and white. And I made it into kind of a glaze. And I'm going to come here and just add this in this area, not everywhere. I just want to see more of the blue in here. Like that. So you see a little bit of the color right here, but mostly blue, light blue on top. And then you have a bit more purples and oranges in here, very faint.
And did you say that is strictly blue and white?
Yes, blue and white, and I have a small touch of amount of ultramarine violet in it. Okay, now, I'm not sure if this is completely dry, but I'm going to take a chance. One more layer. Okay.
Not too thick.
That's okay. If it's a glaze, it will dry transparent if it's a glaze. Okay. Even if it looks thick.
A glaze. I think a glaze.
Yeah. It will dry transparent. You will see if it looks thick right now, but once it's dry, you will see what's underneath. Okay, now what I'm going to do because we still have this part to put some greens, just closer. But before we do this, let's add at this point some of the greens back on, but with blue, green, blue together. Mix them. These are cool colors, so they will recede. And this is a bit of white, and I'm doing this as a kind of a glaze, really not too thick. And I'm just going to enhance some of these, but soft. Because when you have something like this, when you have trees in the back, you see them dark, but even if there's a foggy, misty background, you still see them. You still see some of them darker than others. They're not going to be all the same unless it's the fog is really thick. But most of the time you see some of the trees thicker or darker than other trees. This is mixed with white. So this is green, blue, mixed with white. And I'm shaping a little bit, putting some of these very simple, soft greens in here, especially the ones closer. The ones in the back, I'm going to keep just the way it is. But the ones that are closer, you see that the color starts to show. You see more of the value in there, stronger, more pure color. This is orange. Orange is mixed with white and with touch of yellow ochre. This part, it's getting closer. Back, middle, close. So that's why I'm enhancing the colors in there.
My palette's such a mess.
It looks like a mess, but probably it's fine.
Yeah. Oh.
And the further away, the less detail you're going to see. Honestly, this is not an important part. It's just kind of a nice background for what we're going to be doing eventually.
Sorry, did you add white into that? I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No, I am not actually. This is orange. Yes. Everything I'm putting has white in it. Otherwise, it'll be too dark. Yes. Right? Is that the question? Yes. It has white. Not a little bit of white. I add white slowly.
Trying to concentrate.
Yeah, I know it's hard.
At the same time.
I know it's hard.
I'll just blame it on old age.
No. It's hard. It's not easy to paint and concentrate on. Listen to what I'm saying. Okay, let's take some of that beautiful green. I love this green. It's like a pistachio green. Let's put some of this green again here. Okay, that's good. Before we go, since we have the colors, although we're going to use them again, but we have orange. Let's take a tiny bit of blue and put it in the orange. That will tone down the orange because blue is opposite orange on the color wheel. That is perfect. In this corner, in the back, with the corner of my brush, I'm gonna add the tree, and this tree in the background in here will go all the way down, and then it turns into a green color. And it's a kind of a orangey, it's an orange tree, but it's more like an earth tone green, orange. I'm using the corner of my brush, and I'm pushing the paint.
That's still a round?
Hmm?
Is that still a round brush?
No. This
Oh,
is
you've got, okay. I'm going to change. Thank you.
Once I start getting to this part down here, I'm going to start adding green. Put some orange in your green, a little bit. Just put your green next to the orange. And let's get some green in there. Behind this rooftop, some green. Again, I'm using the corner of my brush. Down. And then I'm going to switch back to orange. Let's take the orange back again. Put some orange in here. And if you have, I'm not cleaning my brush from the greens and the orange. I'm just mixing them. Whatever is left over on my brush, if I have a bit of green and I use orange, that's okay. It gives me that dark orange, which is great. I don't want a strong orange in there. And again, over here. So this week we have most of the background done. And next week we'll start working on the detail. So this week what I'll do is, once this is dry, I'll take my transparent kind of paper, put it on top like this, and I'll retrace my roof top. Make sure I have the right lines everywhere, and then I'm gonna use burnt umber and cover this in burnt umber. Once this is covered in burnt umber, it's not a thick burnt umber. You know, I'm gonna be using a bit of water in there. I will then transfer the detail.
Oh, that really makes a difference here.
What?
I'm happy whenever it resembles your.
Good. Good. Okay. So this way I know now that I will be once this is dry, I will trace my rooftop again on properly, and then I'll put burnt umber over. Then I put back this and transfer the rest of the only reason I'm doing this, I can easily put burnt umber right now on the whole thing. I don't want to do this. I want to know where exactly the rooftops are. And then I'll put the burnt umber, over the whole thing. So now you see, I can see that there are gaps in here, which is not a big deal.
Oops. And drier. I'm starting to pull off the paint.
Okay, one more thing before we sign off. I'm going to take brown. So I have here raw umber, maybe a little bit of green in this. Small brush, round, small brush. And I'm just going to put a couple of these little branches up. Not because, it's just a text for texture, different texture. Not because I want to do exactly what's happening in there. It's just nice to have some branches showing through. We're going to have some hanging branches in there and some leaves anyway, eventually. Okay. We're good. Okay, so now everything is dry. So I'm going to slide my tracing paper underneath, and with a pencil, I'm using black tracing paper. I'm just going to trace actually, all I need to do right now is trace the edge, just the edge of the roof that I probably lost while I was painting. No detail, just make sure. Okay, let's see. I'm going to take this out. All right, perfect. Now, I'm going to take burnt umber. And a wide brush, same brush I was using for the glazing. Water. Perfect. I'm just going to glaze, I'm going to just put an under painting in here and just burnt umber. It helps when we're doing architectural detail. I don't want to see white. It helps. I don't want to see the white of the canvas. Probably what will happen is, now this is going to dry darker, the burnt umber I'm using. So I will be using probably white transfer paper instead of black. All right. This is the reason I'm putting burnt umber is just I don't want to see those little white dots of the canvas. And it gives me a warm, beautiful background so I can paint on that. All right, once this is dry, I'm just going to transfer the rest of the buildings and it will be ready for painting. I will put the paper on top again. This. Align everything. And then just do the rest of the drawing. That's it.